saying in a tweet. These headphones definitely hurt my head a little bit. Couch Tomatoes movie chat.
Rightness, yes.
Twitch.tv/skinslip. Let me hit those fucking hashtags. So I have all of them right here. Tweeted out. Excellent. Oh, boy. What a fucking week it's been, huh?
Yes.
Ah.
Monday sucked.
Tuesday, Wednesday, okay. Happy days. Thursday, Friday, no happy days.
Today's been alright.
Today is the least shitty day I've had all week. That's the best I can give it. It's been a fucking week, y'all.
Monday was just annoying because it was just like waiting half the day to actually be able to do work again. It was like, but I literally waited the entire first week of the month for that. I thought we were done with this.
All right. I had a most horrific dream last night. I was a teenager and I was hanging out with a bunch of other teenagers. I didn't recognize any of them from like my past, but there was this girl and she was talking, and we were kind of fucking around, and there was a .22 pistol just being passed about, and
What?
And in my dream I just impulsively put the pistol to her head and pulled the trigger.
What the fuck?
Right? Like, it's like, that's not something I would do. That's so against my own, like, that was the most upsetting part, is like, I was like, I would never do that though. Like, but it was kind of fucked me up because like the dead look on her face, and the fact that she like was like talking and then literally mid-sentence just, that was it. She was gone. Like, fuck, man, that fucked me up so bad today.
Now you have to put that in the movie.
Yeah.
Just
the smoke comes out of her mouth. Like,
else.
in my dream, like, it looked like there was a bit of a flash behind her eyes, and like her mouth lit up for a second, and I was just like, oh boy. I mean, like, there was an instant regret. And that's the thing about, like, this is why, like, I don't know if anyone's ever done any studies about people's ADHD and firearms, but how common are people who with ADHD who struggle with depression? How common is it where they just fucking commit suicide with firearms? Like, it's so easy to just make the decision that you're done. Which is why I don't have a firearm. Oh shit, motherfucker! Jesus Christ, that was loud.
What? I didn't do anything.
Not you, motherfucker. It's not about you. Jesus, how do I turn that down? Wrong window.
It's more common than, somewhat normal people. I don't even think that there's such a thing as normal people, but like people who can, more or less keep their shit together and have a easier time of it than everyone else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, neurotypical we call them. They are normal. They're quote unquote normal. They're normal.
I am positive. I am like, you could not convince me that if they did a study, they wouldn't find out. Pretty sure they probably have done a study. But you couldn't convince me that if they did a study, they wouldn't find out that people with ADHD definitely kill themselves
on a higher
at a higher rate than neurotypical.
I mean, I can't see why it isn't true, because like, I mean, like, that's the thing about ADHD people don't really get. It's like, you literally do and say things and immediately go, why the fuck did I do or say that thing? So like that like, clearly my nightmare was my brain torturing me with like a fear, like either accidentally killing myself or hurting somebody else irreparably with an impulsive action that I didn't necessarily want to do, right? Like that's
That reminds me
that's a
of
big fear of my brain.
my anxiety disorder, which the whole point of it, the thing that happens is that I have fears over things that, generally speaking, again, while they might be something that happens more frequently among people like us, are not something that is like very, 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 very likely to happen. It's something that's like, you know, at least close to irrational to be afraid of, but you can't fucking help yourself but to be afraid of it because that's the way the anxiety works.
Like there is a.
You tell yourself immediately, like, there's no reason to be afraid of this, and it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Your
yeah.
brain is still fucking like.
It doesn't make
I'm still gonna fucking freak out about it.
It doesn't make the voice in your head shut up.
Yep. There's no reason to. Doesn't matter.
Are
yeah. We live yet?
Oh yeah, we're live.
Okay.
Like that's the thing. It's like when we move out, I'm definitely gonna have to get a weapon. I'm gonna have to get some defensive item.
Yes.
It's going to probably be a shotgun because
handheld chainsaws, as we've discussed.
No, actually, I was considering a shotgun because there's nothing like more terrifying than sneaking around the dark and hearing that ka-chunk of the shotgun racking a shell in the chamber. You're like, you can leave right now. Ain't no one gonna die. You know, that's what I was considering. A little harder to just act. Just Anyway. It's just something I know it needs to happen because of the world we live in. It shouldn't have to be that way, but that's the way it is. There's a lot of awful people out there who hate trans people just for existing. I mean, they're losers, but like, what am I gonna do about it?
Yes, as we've recently discovered, like
truly atrocious people. Truly atrocious people. Like, oh my god. Is this like gonna be super loud now? Hold on, I gotta.
It's alright. There's something to live for. Jesus told me so.
It's so loud here. Oh my god. It's so loud in my ears. These headphones are so loud. Holy shit. Like, everything is way more sensitive. I had to turn you down here, so I had to turn you up there so people can even fucking hear you.
Oh.
Because I was like, I had to turn the volume all like normally I'm at 100% when we do these talks, right? Just so I could always clearly hear you even over my own fucking dumb voice. But I can't hear my own voice because these headphones are fully closed headphones. And so...
Let me talk so that I can see if I can hear myself at all.
La la la.
I actually am still a little low in the...
Okay. I will adjust you as such. How about now?
La la la.
La la la.
That's much better. That's perfect.
All right. I did not see the first episode of Chucky. I won't be watching Chucky until it's probably done airing for the season.
I might.
Where's that
watch
showing?
whatever's available before, Halloween. But yeah, that's USA and Sci-Fi.
We're just streaming though.
Whoever has the rights to USA and Sci-Fi.
That's great. Probably Hulu, I'm guessing.
Well, like, for me, I would just fucking go... I think it's probably Hulu, but for me, I would just go to my Xfinity thing and be like, okay, watch it through there.
Hulu. Let's find out. Of course, my DVR... Oh, I haven't set recordings for a while. I need to go do that. Let's see here. Chucky. Is that the series? Yeah, okay, here we go. It's on Hulu, so we can watch it there. But we'll probably wait until there's the full series out, because I'm like, I have a thing where like I don't want to watch a show and have a fucking... Because like, if I'm watching the show and it ends after like 3 episodes and I never finish the series and it never gets released, I'm not going to fucking torture myself and watch it. because that would hurt. That'd break my heart. That'd break my heart. It's probably not going to happen. But like that happened to the Tremor series. We didn't get a full series until DVD a few years later, after many like emails to Universal from a lot of us about it. Anyway, we should probably talk about the movies we talked about this week or watched about this week. We watched about this week, yeah.
Yes, we should.
Do you remember anything significant about the New York Ripper? Because I was dissociated at that point.
Do you remember?
I was in full dissociation. I don't remember shit. So.
I do. Actually, oddly enough, I remember the opening scene the most, because it took place on a ferry, and the person who was the victim was in a car, and that's the one with the fucking guy with the Donald Duck voice, you know?
Oh yeah.
And I remember it because I was just like, oh, I've been on a ferry like that. Oh, yeah, that's people sometimes will just stay in their car down there. Now, usually people will get out of their car and get onto the ferry and just maybe find something to eat at like a fucking like there are regardless. I'm like, why am I going into detail about a fucking ferry? The point is, they get off the car and they get onto the ferry and whatever. And so usually there aren't a lot of people down in the car bay, right? So it makes sense. It made sense to me that, yeah, of course, there'd be one person who's staying down there. And of course, it's going to be the one person who ends up getting killed. And, it made sense to me as a plausible concept for a murder, at least. So
I guess this was a giallo. Yeah, I should probably say that.
Yeah, it's giallo. Lucio Fulci.
Yep.
And
Indeed.
I liked it, actually. I mean, the Donald Duck aspect of it was a little bit silly.
I think it's intentionally that way, but yeah.
Yeah.
I get the sense that he was just having a little bit of fun. And thought that'd be a really fucked up way for someone to torture someone by doing like a notable voice.
If you've watched enough of his movies, and you've watched enough giallos, then you know inherently that like whatever the twist is, it's going to be something you wouldn't expect.
Probably.
So you start to think of things that you wouldn't expect. Like, okay, it's this random person that showed up one time.
And sometimes it's that person, actually.
Yeah,
my favorite part is when it's like we're like, oh, I think it's this person, and they're like, it was this person, and you're like, yeah, and it's like, nope, psych, it was this person. Like, no, it's so close.
I remember what was it, Tenebrae we were watching, and in the opening scene they have they have the person going down the hallway, and there's like a bunch of paintings and everything. And I was like, I could have sworn I saw somebody standing in front of a painting in one of the side hallways as they were going down the hallway.
Yeah.
And sure enough, that comes into play later in the film.
Oh.
You really have to be paying attention when you're watching a giallo. And while I feel like that is also true of the New York Ripper, you don't have to pay as much attention to that.
I think New York Ripper's playing a bit more loosely with it, kind of tiptoeing into like serial killer and slasher territory a little bit. Actually, isn't there like a POV kill? I remember for some reason I remember there's like a POV shot.
I think there is. Yeah.
Which is very slashery to begin with.
The one in the car in the intro is.
I will say. Oh, sorry.
POV. I'm pretty sure.
You're right. I'm remembering that now. I'd like to say you can't always guess giallos because sometimes it's just out of the blue, like literally. I mean, they'll explain how fits into the thing, but it's literally there's no way you could guess. It was just, ta-da! Here's the thing that happened.
Yeah, and that's what I like about them. Though it's just they're unpredictable. you watch as many movies as we do, eventually you're gonna see every single plot device ever, and you're gonna know
Oh yeah.
exactly what's coming next.
And that's not to
And
say
it
that
just-
they're not here in Giallo also, but it's just like
Yeah.
sometimes there's some twists I was like, wow, okay. Like the end of
Yes.
A Short Night of Glass Dolls is probably my favorite Giallo because that ending was incredible. It went from being like pretty good to incredible with one scene at the very end. You're just like, fuck. It's such a dark ending. Oh, I love it so much. I'm pretty sure I gave it a 9 out of 10.
Really good. Yeah. So
I've expressed before that it's very hard for a movie to get a 10 out of 10 from me. That's
what
it.
did you give New York Ripper?
I think I gave it a 7. Let's see here. Yeah, I gave it a 7 out of 10. I remember,
Yeah, I'm
like, at
pretty
the time
sure
liking it,
that's about
but,
I'll
like,
give it.
because I was,
Let me
like,
give it that.
partially dissociated, the memories didn't commit to my brain well. So, like, I
Yeah.
could not, so even though I give it 7 stars, do note that I don't remember most of it. By the way, that was my second time, it's the first time I tried to watch it, and I didn't finish it, so I didn't log it. That was my second time going through more than half the movie and not remembering a damn thing about it, so, or probably watch it again.
Yeah, it's not bad. I think it's like maybe even an 8 out of 10. Maybe.
See, that's...
I enjoyed it.
So yes, take my review with a grain of salt. Next, you can take my actual review of this because I adore this movie. I've seen it several times. Jennifer's Body from 2009. Written by Diablo Cody, the same person who did Juno, actually. Okay.
This was my first time seeing Jennifer's Body, and I enjoyed it a lot.
This is my second time this year seeing it. I saw it with my friend Nessie. Someone recommended it to them, and then I was like, well, I love that movie. I hope you love it too. And they watched it. They loved it. So, hey, that works out. It plays with a lot of the interesting tropes of female characters in horror films and turns them on its head and stomps their squishy little heads. There's serious lesbian undertones, which are actually undercut by the fact that the studio wanted her to chill out a little bit, so they cut out, like, a sex scene between Jennifer and Needy. I mean, like, they cut out, like, actual, literally going the full 9 with the lesbian subtext, right?
Wow.
And make it,
Fuck.
but they reeled it back with a rewrite or something like that, or studio note.
I
Anyway.
hope to hear more about that in the upcoming Criterion release. I know it's not been released, but like...
Oh, did it actually get announced?
No, it did not get announced. I'm saying, like,
Oh.
we were talking about how, like,
Oh, God.
For example, Do the Right Thing got announced
so good.
that they were going to put that on the Criterion channel for, like, streaming and stuff like that. And we were like, oh, I wonder if it's going to get a release. Less than a year later, it got a release. Now, that had already previously been on DVD through Criterion.
But there's also hundreds of cases where movies have gone up there and not gotten a Criterion release.
Yeah. But, you know, because it has happened, I'm just like, hey, it could happen. Jennifer's Body,
It's
a Criterion release.
I think it's Criterion
physical
worthy.
media.
It is 100% a Criterion worthy. And my favorite part is I've loved the movie since it came out, okay? I didn't see it when it first came out. I saw it about 2011, 2 years later, you know, on home video, DVD, rented it. Someone recommended it to me. Other people were saying it was crap. And I will tell you right now, as someone who uses Letterboxd all the time, Jennifer Body's reviews are hilarious right now because they're like hundreds of reviews. People are saying it's like 1 star, 2 stars, it's crap. And then out of nowhere, they'll just be the same person reviewing. They're like, I was so wrong about this movie. This movie's so fucking good. Yeah, that's right. That's You Eat Crow. Good movies are good, man.
That's like the 10-year vintage kind of a fucking thing going on.
It's called the John Carpenter effect.
Yeah.
There's no official name for this. I've just now labeled it the John Carpenter effect. It's literally 12, 14 of the 18 movies that John Carpenter did are cult classics because guess what? Nobody fucking liked them when they first came out, and they're amazing, and they should have been loved instead. Halloween was the big hit, the real big hit for him.
there's that idiom about like aging like a fine wine. But the truth about aging like a fine wine is that usually it doesn't taste too fucking good, or you don't think it tastes very good for the first few years, and then you age it, and suddenly it tastes fucking amazing.
And in this case, the movie isn't the wine. You are the wine.
Mm.
You've seen more
Deep.
movies. You've done more things in your life. You've experienced more bullshit, right? So when you revisit a movie like say Jennifer's Body that you previously hated and now you love, it's not because the movie is like better now or somehow was ahead of its time. It's because you weren't ready for the movie.
Mm.
It wasn't a movie for you at that time. Which is why I make a very big point to go back and rewatch movies that I've given 1 and 2 stars often. Especially if I have people in my life who've been like, no, the movie's great. I'm like, really? You know?
No,
But yeah, gotta put some life experience on. Maybe I'll like it in the future, you know? That kind of thing. I love Jennifer's Body, by the way.
from watching this movie, after we watched this movie, I heard in the movie just playing in the background a fucking whole song, right?
Oh, make me
And
over. I'm all I wanna be. Yep.
that's not the one I heard.
But that's on
But
there,
anyway,
and that's the one that gets stuck in my head. It's in the. It's at.
that got stuck in my head,
Yeah.
and I got like ridiculously. I just kept playing it over and over again on YouTube, and then I looked into it and found out that the song "Violet" by Hole was actually written on Halloween night in 1991.
Wow, 30
Like
years.
she wrote it on Halloween night 30 years ago. It's crazy.
I love things like that. Hey, Michael, how's it going, buddy? So yeah, so I fucking adored everything about uh, uh everything about fucking Jennifer's Body.
But
Jesus Christ, and yeah, I watched it twice in 1 year, which I don't do very often. And so I stated only because of Letterboxd's restriction of only putting one movie a movie once on a list makes it hard for me to like log multiple watches without doing lots of extra typing.
yeah.
I generally stray away from watching rewatches, but I did watch Suicide Squad 3 times this year, and God Delivers Kong 3 times this year. So, like, you know, shit
I
happens.
really enjoyed Jennifer's Body as well. Being my first viewing of it, the first I didn't watch it at first when it first came out because I had heard so much negativity about it. And I was like,
People
well,
hated it.
maybe it's not going to be that good. Maybe it's not worth my time or whatever. And I honestly don't know if at the time I would have still had that opinion. Maybe because I was a different person at that time. But like watching it now, I definitely liked it. I thought it was a great movie and would love to see more movies like that. You know what I mean?
Another movie that's like not the same vein, but in the same movie, same kind of hate where like everyone hated it. I have no idea if there's been a turnaround on it, but all the boys love Mandy Lane. It's a really great horror film, and it also plays with tropes in an interesting way. But I don't think it's as deep or as good as Jennifer's Body. I give Jennifer's Body an 8 out of 10, almost a 9 out of 10. Like, so fucking close. So close. It's growing on me. It's probably going to, by the time I'm like 50, it's going to be probably a 9 out of 10. I guarantee it.
Yeah, I think 8 out of 10 is good for me. I think that's probably about what I would rate it. Yeah. Yeah.
And also hearted it, which is not something I do to every movie. Next, I watched The House That Jack Built. You didn't see that. You didn't happen to watch The House That Jack Built in the last 2 weeks? No, okay. That'd be one you should check out. I would like to hear your thoughts about its abuse of
I don't know. That's
Dante.
the thing, though. Like, you told me so many things about it that I would absolutely hate, and I'm like, but I don't want to watch a movie I know I'm going to hate.
It bludgeons you. I mean, it's like you walked in the door and decided to beat you.
This is art.
Yes, that's exactly what it's doing. That's what it's doing. It's literally just beating you in the face with a crowbar, like Joker style. You're Robin, just trying to fucking breathe, and this motherfucker's like, art, 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 and you're like, no, like it's terrible. Speaking of that, that's my segue into The Long Halloween, which we've watched both parts of back to back.
Get it? Because it's an animated film, so art. That's stupid. Film is art. Anyway.
Like literally,
parts 1 and 2.
literally one of the key pieces of literature on film is art by Arnheim. Anyway, was it Arnheim? I don't know if it's Arnheim now. I'm doubting the author. Sorry. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Film is art is
I will
important.
tell you something pretty interesting about that. I had dozens of film classes in college, dozens, and I would say at least half of them required me to have that book.
It is an essential.
They pull from that book.
It's an essential piece of literature about critical thinking about film.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, and it's dry as fuck. I'll tell you, it took me a solid 9 months to read that book, because I would read and it's not even 100 pages, I don't think. It's like 120 pages. It's really small little book, and it's just dry as fuck. I have to reread passages over and over again because, I mean, it's really dry. But like getting the hang of that, like it really helps it's like giving you a film third eye. You start looking at movies differently. You know, as you take a film and you deconstruct one, next you know you start seeing all the it's like, ugh, this might be a little easier for someone to understand. As you gain experience with Lego, you start looking at models that are complete and going, this is how they did it probably, and then you can in your brain construct it. And the same thing is about film. You can look at a completed piece of art and see the parts that make it individually, or can guess it, because, you know, there's always surprises with movies, so I love them so much. Okay, anyway, my little one right there. Batman Long Halloween.
I quite enjoyed this. I didn't know anything about the story of Batman Long Halloween. I knew that the movie was based on what I thought was a graphic novel.
It is.
But you said it was like a comic.
It was divided up into 13 issues over a year. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was always intended to be published as one piece. That was just like it's one complete novel. It was serialized.
Okay.
But there's also a sequel called Dark Victory, and then the interlude between the two called Catwoman When in Rome. Because there's a part in Dark Victory where Catwoman just fucking disappears for like 7 issues. You know, like that's like for like 200 pages, 300 pages, whatever. And then she shows back up, and you're like, where the fuck was Catwoman when in Rome? And it's just a side story, but something that cut out the original story for pacing reasons, apparently. It was always intended to be there. So I do highly recommend picking that up. I wish that was like a short that we could watch. I wish if they do Dark Victory, they do that as a short. Because it would probably rank in as like a 20-minute short. 25 minutes, maybe. It's pretty short. It's like 2 issues. Anyway, sorry.
I like that.
I really liked it. It takes place early in Batman's career. So Harvey Dent is just Harvey Dent. And there's like little hints, little teases that the Two-Face is coming out of him regardless of the scarred face or not. In fact, right, like there's like a pivotal scene that deals with that. I fucking loved it. And this is like really fucking good. It's really good. They changed the ending quite a bit. But this was like a solid 8 out of 10. One of the better animated Batman movies. If you are familiar with like early era Batman, this is an interesting thing to follow up after year one. Watching year one, watching and then you watch Long Halloween, and then Killing Joke would happen after that. So Killing Joke would be after Dark Victory, which hasn't been adapted obviously, but it's like the chronologically I actually have these on my shelf in this order too. Cause I'm a big fucking Batman nerd. Anyway, if you like Batman cartoons, you're gonna love this one. It's awesome. It's very much a mature experience though. Heads up.
I like the idea of seeing Batman as somebody who didn't initially want to be a detective, which is like, but that's what you do.
He did all his training to become a combat guy. And, like, this is his experience where he's like, oh, I kind of have to figure out a mystery to get to the point where I punch the guy. You know?
Yeah.
And, yeah, and it's great. And you see him grow. It's great because you see him grow as that. It's a good character. That part is lesser in the comics, I would say. Anyway, next up, what a hell of a movie this was. The Invisible Man from 2020. Jesus fucking Christ. You want to talk about anxiety? Woo-wee! This movie had me fucking adrenaline dumping at the end of it. I was like shaking in the best way. It's such a good movie, but whoa. It took me a while before I visited again. And I own it, so.
And
No, I don't. No, I don't own it. Uh-oh, wait. Nope, I
that
don't
would
own
be
it.
awkward. We didn't watch it that way, so.
No, I know, but I thought anyway. Hi, I'm very.
Hi.
I'm very.
Yeah.
Oops. Gotta be careful of that. So broke the last ones. Yeah. So, Invisible Man. Holy crap. I made jokes about it being Hollow Man before ever seeing it, but wow, that's actually pretty. It actually is basically Hollow Man, but different.
I would say very different.
Hollow Man in the sense that
elements of Hollow Man.
Well, yeah, in a sense of that, like the way the being, like in this case, the idea. So in this case, the character was a abusive piece of shit beforehand, and in Hollow Man, the idea being that not being able to see yourself removes humanity from yourself, so you go insane.
It's also part of Invisible Man.
Yes. But I mean, like that's kind of like what they all touch on this in an interesting way. What a incredible, and I mean, like I kind of called the twist, but like getting there to the end was just really anxiety inducing in the best ways. I gave this a 9 out of 10. I give this a 9 out of 10 hard. Like it's a very fucking good, very good horror film.
I had already seen this, and I actually do own it. Because every now and then, this one actually, for the past year or two since it came out on 4K, the 4K has gone down in price to like under $15. And it's like, at some point you got to say yes to that. Because it's such a good movie. I wouldn't say like endlessly rewatchable, but definitely one you can rewatch at least once a year. And,
There's a lot to be said about how people treat victims of these kind of abusers.
Yes.
I mean, and it's amplified because this guy's invisible, but everything that is in this movie is very triggering for somebody who has dealt with abusive people like this in the past.
It's like, this is what I would show to people who don't understand what gaslighting is and need to be shown an example of what it is.
Oh, hi, baby. What's up?
You cannot watch this movie and not leave it with a firm and complete understanding of what gaslighting is. Maybe not complete, but like fairly close to complete.
I think you can watch the movie Gaslight also to do that. But
might help too, but I think
that's where the term comes
surprisingly,
from.
actually, watched that movie and it's like the issues of gaslighting that happen in that movie are much less pronounced than a movie like this. So you know, you might still have to be dealing with a viewer who knows how to parse through those things when they're watching a movie. You know,
Who is the lead in Invisible Man?
the lady, you mean?
That's Elizabeth Moss.
Mm-hmm.
So Elizabeth Banks is the Invisible Woman? That doesn't make any sense. It should be Elizabeth Moss because she's the
What is
actress.
that?
Apparently, that's what Michael says in the chat.
Michael, what are you talking about, Michael?
There's an Invisible Woman coming out, or being made or whatever, and it's gonna have Elizabeth Banks
Adaptation
instead of
of the
Elizabeth
Universal
Moss.
sequel, The Invisible Woman, with Elizabeth Banks as the title character. Which that film could be connected. I don't know. I don't know.
Ah, feh,
God damn it, Michael.
feh.
I'm just kidding.
Every time.
I would hope that if they're gonna, like, the thing is, when you watch The Invisible Man, you see the ending of it. If you know how it ends, then if you know that, like, it's entirely possible, plausible, would personally upset me if the sequel to this was not The Invisible Woman. If the next thing they did was not The
Yeah,
Invisible Woman.
but why would they not cast the same person? Like, come on.
That's a good question.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know. Maybe Michael was just confused and said the wrong Elizabeth. I don't know.
It's possible. Apparently Banks is also directing it. I also love memoirs of an Invisible Man from John Carpenter. As we discussed earlier, you can choose 14 of his 18 movies, and they're all cult classics for a reason, because no one liked them when they first came out, but they're actually totally great.
But then, like,
I feel bad for him. He's
all the time
bitter
on TV, like on TBS and whatnot. You know,
I mean, he's pretty bitter about the whole thing.
he has a right to be.
Oh, absolutely. I don't blame him one bit for being bitter. I'm just saying.
No, that's just what I'm saying. It's like, I don't blame him for being bitter, but at the same time,
it's pretty hard not to be when your whole career people told you can't direct movies, and then like all your movies are classics now. You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Ah.
But there's that whole thing of, like, a lot of us grew up watching his movies on TV, and that's why we love them now, because we grew up with them.
Yeah.
So
they were cheap to license, so they got played a lot. We watched them a lot.
The sad part is that means basically he had to give his art away for next to nothing, make next to nothing for what he had done, and for so long, and that's why he was so bitter. He didn't seem as bitter now, though, but I understand why he was bitter.
I think having a successful movie career kind of dampens, or music career. I mean, kind of dampens any sadness you might have of, like, oh, they didn't understand my movies, but they love my music. They've always loved my music, like.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Add to films discussed, on Couch Tomatoes. Bingo Hell. Did you have anything to say about Bingo Hell?
God, that movie was garbage. I'm sorry.
I don't agree with it being garbage. It was okay. It wasn't the worst thing ever. I'm sorry. It's not garbage. That's rude, and you know it.
It's not a 3 out of 10. Correct. It's more like a 4 out of 10.
I gave it a 6 out of 10.
That is extremely generous for that.
I don't know. I like the effects and I like the actors, but the lighting was fun. But God, it kind of drug a little bit, and there was like no momentum to the movie at all.
It was silly, goofy. Didn't really care too much about the characters, honestly.
Yeah, I wasn't implored to like any of the characters at all. Like, it's not a bad movie, because I don't think it's like badly put together. This is just not my cup of tea, which is why I don't like calling it garbage, because this is some dude's favorite movie, some late person's favorite movie,
Well, I'm sorry if this is your favorite movie.
Don't be a dick. You know better than that.
you know that I could be saying I'm sorry for being rude. So, yeah.
Don't be a dick. Anyway, I'm not gonna end this. We're not gonna do. I don't have really any in-depth discussion to have about this, about Bingo Hell. It might be your cup of tea. That's all I can tell you. It's not my cup of tea, but I didn't hate it.
Could have been better. I think part of the reason I didn't like it was because it wasn't the kind of movie I was hoping it would be, and that's on me. That's on me entirely.
I don't know. I don't think it was just. I just don't feel like it delivered.
It's yet another, yet more proof that you should not go into anything expecting something.
I will say Richard Brake in this is excellent because he's Richard Brake, and it's impossible for him to put a bad performance in.
Exactly.
So if you're a big Richard Brake fan, you'll probably love this movie because he's all up in this. Next, what's the plot of Dark Waters? Do you remember the plot of Dark Waters?
I do kind of, yeah. The one where that woman goes out to the island to investigate what happened to her friend. I think it was her friend.
Maybe
it was a family member.
Might be a sister. That part I can't remember. But like, I immediately got just from the plot. I just thought to myself, "Oh, it's Wicker Man, but different."
Oh,
because you're going to there. She's going to secluded convent. She goes to a secluded convent with this like these strange like different what's the word I'm looking for? Strange is probably not the right word. It's like a mysterious convent, right? On a barren island, and then like. Right. Everyone's being secretive, and she's looking for somebody. It's like that's basically the premise of The Apostle and The Wicker Man, and not Midsummer.
I can see that, but at the same time, it's just like I don't know. To me, it does not have the feel.
No. I said it's the same plot. The same plot's all I said about it. This is
bare bones.
This is a very very Italian movie. This is very full of like the things you expect in an Italian film, like a genre film. There's a lot of
random Russian actors.
Oh yeah, that's right. There was a bunch of Russian actors in here. I mean, a lot of these movies.
Cheaper. I don't know.
A lot of these movies had like international casts because they were cheaper, and they work in their own language. So they can just be dubbed over in any language. That's why they didn't sync sound for a lot of these. But yeah, there was some really cool imagery. This weird seal with this demon face I can't stop thinking about. That was pretty cool. Like, it's not the nunsploitation the box wants you to think it is. Or the poster. There's definitely nuns and exploitation.
Never go into anything expecting anything. Exactly. My point.
Yeah.
I thought like this was actually like when you say that you make it sound maybe like it's not that good, but I'm thinking of myself.
Oh, I thought it was excellent.
It's better than nunsploitation.
No, I'm saying
passes a nunsploitation.
The poster, the cover, the description on the back of the Blu-ray would all lead you to believe kind of the nunsploitation genre, but it's not. It's more just a religious horror.
Yes. One of the best I think I've ever seen too. Like this is just really good. I was not it takes a long time to get anywhere in this movie, right? Like
slow burn for sure.
Slow burn. But I would say at least at the halfway point that you are either drawn in enough that you will fucking love it, or you're just never gonna be drawn in enough for this movie. Either or, but I got drawn in. I got sucked in. I was like, "Oh, this is actually really cool. I love what they're doing here. I love the concept of what's going on here." You know.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like very well shot too. Like this.
Oh,
the cinematography
was incredible.
Was fucking amazing.
It was incredible.
That's what gets you. Is like if you're expecting nunsploitation, then you're not expecting like really, really good cinematography, right? But here you have some of the best you maybe will ever see in a horror movie.
It's
Like it's really good.
incredible. Like it's truly like I was like there's a lot of stuff you find in like Italian films, the lighting, the editing, it's a bit of sleaze, but like the imagery here is and the way it's shot and the way it's presented is just actually really quite incredible. I have no
Yeah,
idea who this guy is, Mariano Baino, but and he just like did this in some random other movies that are like insignificant compared to this staggering
it's
piece of
truly
art.
telling that, like, I believe you said at the end of it that you had discovered while looking into this guy that because of this movie, he was given citizenship in the United States.
Yes, that is in
Right?
fact true. He was given citizenship for the artistic quality of this film, which is bizarre, but okay.
So when we say it looks good, we're not lying.
Yeah.
It looks good enough that the United States is like, okay, here you can be a citizen.
Severin put out a great Blu-ray. Highly recommend it.
There are several shots, like the ones that stick out to me are the ones from like the underground shots when they're like in the caves and the tunnels and
Catacombs,
stuff.
yeah.
Because the catacombs, because there are like all these little alcoves in the wall along the way where they have candles lit, and I mean like hundreds of candles lit along these passageways. And you think to yourself, how fucking long did it take to set up this shot?
Right?
It took at least half an hour just to get it to look this way after you had built the set. After building the set.
Half an
just
hour
to
to
get it
light all the
look
damn
this way.
candles, you
To
know?
light the candles, yes. And then set the shot up and get it all going.
Mhm.
Like, that's a lot of painstaking effort to go through, and I appreciated the effort because it was a pretty damn good movie. I think I'd give this like a 9 out of 10. It's really good.
I give it 8 out of 10. But it's like borderline,
Yes.
you know. Stop
I
playing.
wasn't expecting it to be that good, but like, it was. It was very good. Because you said to expect, or you gave me the implication that it would be a nunsploitation, so that's what I was expecting.
That's what I was
too.
expecting, because that's what I was
Yeah.
led to believe.
So when we get into it, it's like, oh, this is pleasant surprise.
It's an incredible piece of art instead. Oops.
Yeah.
Oops, all art.
Oops, all art.
Next, speaking of art, we watched Arachnophobia from 1990.
Yes.
And this is the first time I've seen this since the 90s. This used to play on TV all the time, so I've seen it a few times. But
different kind of art here. This is like
I'm
full
being
Hollywood
sarcastic,
art.
okay? I have a big problem with spiders, and like in real life, they make me shriek. I'm not a friend with them.
But somehow you can deal with them in movies.
Yes, I mean it scares me. It's a movie, you know, but I know it's a movie. It still makes me paranoid enough to like during the movie I was doing this like, every now and then,
Yes, yeah.
checking everywhere. So I was paranoid for like a day or so. Like, yeah, it happens.
Who among us who has seen this movie can say that they don't periodically check under their toilet or over their shower head? You know, not all the time, but sometimes you will. You know you will. Because this movie has traumatized you.
I check lampshades before I put my hand up inside them. No joke. That's from this movie. That's the power of cinema right there.
Oh, man.
But man, there's like a sense of glee in this movie. I didn't remember.
Glee?
Well, yeah, like when the movie
It's not
indulges in its like scares a bit. Like it's like
Oh, yeah.
it's like the director is having a bit of glee, not the audience.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Frank Marshall in this case. Like you can tell this guy's having a blast coming up with the weirdest fucking scenarios to have spiders come out of, and it's like I said, there's a million nightmares born from this movie. A million.
This is somebody who is trying to. I almost would think, like, in a certain way, pay homage to the kind of movie that Jaws was. You know.
I mean, it feels,
And
yeah, absolutely.
because, but like what so many other movies that ripped off Jaws, what they get wrong is that they either go all
Oh yeah, check your popcorn
focus
bowl.
on one thing,
Exactly.
or all focus on another thing, and in this movie, the focus is fucking everywhere. You know, like it's not just the big spider that you have to be afraid of; it's all the little spiders you got to be afraid of as well, and where they might be and how they show up and all this stuff. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so like there's so much going on here and so much lore building in the movie that it's like, you know, you start to maybe not care too much about the characters in the movie, a little bit, at least a little
You
bit.
care about
right?
some of them, you know.
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah,
want the main
but,
family to die. That's about it. You know, everyone else was cool.
But yeah, you're given enough to work with here to, you know, to really appreciate the all the different little angles that there are for every
And
spider scare.
and the best part of the movie is it's not in any way believable because there's no way a spider's gonna get like that big is gonna sneak into the fucking country up in sound. No way.
Sure, no way at all.
Not like that.
That's what they said about the murder hornets.
They fly.
Yep.
They fly aloft on the winds across the oceans. We were fools to think they would do otherwise. Fools, I
Pretty
say.
sure they-
Watched a
pretty
lot of
sure
Lord
they
of the Rings
came
lately.
Through
So.
like shipments, but
That's possible too, but like literally, there are like not birds, like insects, spiders. You know, spiders. This speaking of arachnophobia, spiders. Oh god damn it! My headphone thing.
Hey, Sherlock.
They craft a fucking wind sail out of the webbing, and they literally fly for hundreds of miles on them. For reals, look it up. Flying
Wow.
spiders. They're real. That's
I
what they do.
believe you.
That's how they get
Yes,
across.
I
That's how they
know.
get from place to place. So you're telling me spiders can do it?
I mean, crabs
Come on.
basically are spiders.
Hornets.
The spiders of the water.
My point is, hornets can definitely do it
Yeah.
because they got wings.
If they can live long enough. I mean,
I'm sure there's plenty of ecologies, bug ecologies we have no anything about that they could work with. You know, talking
I
about
think the
hornets.
thing about
Hornets are meat
spiders and
eaters.
the way that-
They don't-
Now, the reason
They're not
that works for
bees.
spiders so much is that they don't have to put any extra energy into it. They've created the means by which they can float places, right?
Yeah.
But with a bee or a wasp or something,
Hornet
like
in this
that,
case.
They have to constantly be fluttering their wings. That's how they fly.
No. They're very
They
light.
have to
So
expel their fucking
they
energy.
they fly on gusts of wind. I'm telling you. And on top of it, they don't need to eat eat pollen or flowers or honey or whatever the fuck they do. They literally eat other bugs, birds, and whatever else they want. Like if
they just need to get into like a wind current and then float
Yeah.
through the wind.
yeah, they're always gonna come here. Is my point. They're always gonna get here. Didn't matter
They'll
how.
find a way.
Nature. I think Malcolm said it best. That nature finds a way. Well,
Life
there it is.
Finds a way.
Life finds a way, exactly. All right, Arachnophobia was great, held up really well. I gave that a 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
Wow,
That was a good score.
we watched a lot of 9 out of 10s because I also watched Hausu. I saw that all wrong.
Yes.
Hausu, also known as House, from 1977? 77.
What a wild movie.
What a just I couldn't begin to express to you what happened in the movie because so much insane fucking shit happened. Severed heads flew through the air. There was some weird spider creature. There's a lot of like weird monsters imagery. Like, this is
Yeah.
the haunted house movie you should see. If you see one this year, House from 1977, Japanese film, is the haunted house movie you need to see.
There's a lot of dream logic and dream
Thousand
imagery
percent.
throughout the movie.
Yeah.
Um, but as weird as it is, it's also like it explains so much about Japanese horror films to me now, because it's like I can now understand some of the like the areas where all these other Japanese horror films I've seen since then, where they were like borrowing inspiration or taking inspiration from House. Like, oh, okay, yeah, that helps me to understand
Right.
what's going on there. You
Oh yeah, big time.
know?
I cannot express how cool House is. I know. Film bros on Twitter will talk your fucking face off about how cool it is, but like, it's cooler than them. Film bros don't deserve fucking House. I'm telling you, they don't. Film chads can go away. I'm sure they'll like it.
Feels like a I was gonna say new Hollywood, but I meant like a new a new wave kind of a movie. But of course, because it's Japanese, it's not necessarily new wave. It's
I mean, it's visionary in a way.
their own.
The visionary in a way you don't see in European or Western culture. It's different.
Yes,
Because
very
it's
different.
from a completely different culture, and so it's like got its root in like kami and Shinto and all this other religious trappings and cultural trappings that have existed for generations there that we have a thimble knowledge full. I only have a thimble knowledge full about that stuff, so it's like, and yeah, like you said, you can see in a lot of other more modern or movies since House that have leaned heavily on some one part or several parts of the imagery contained within that movie, because it's like, yeah, because that
exactly.
it's got all, because House has all the cool ideas you could ever like. It's like the Black Sabbath of movies. So like Black Sabbath, every heavy metal chord you've ever heard, every riff, every cool anything, Black Sabbath already did it 25 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Like, literally, you listen to some of those old Black Sabbath records, and you're just like, wow, I fucking hear Metallica there. I hear Iron Man picked up this here. Like, it's
A little bit of Slayer here, a little
it
bit. Yeah,
it all leads back to fucking Black Sabbath,
Mm-hmm.
Blue Cheer and a few of the other like proto metal album bands. But like, I feel like House is like that. It does all the cool. It's all the cool things you saw in any movie. House already did it.
Like, oh, I see where Ju-on got this, and
Yeah.
I see where, what's the other Ringu, where Ringu got that. And,
Yeah. even wilder. I mean, like I see where Tetsuo got some inspiration. Tetsuo the Iron Man.
Yes.
I mean, like I see it, and like I didn't know it until I saw this movie. And beyond film chads, I have to say that The House, 1977, is essential viewing. And if you can find a way to see it, I highly implore you to see it.
It's on HBO Max if you have HBO Max.
It is fun as hell. Criterion put it on Blu-ray,
Criterion,
which I need to buy now. It's probably on Criterion Channel also. That's usually how that works.
Yeah.
But. Add that to the list. Okay. Next we watched Muppets Haunted Mansion.
Hell yeah, we did. And it was fucking phenomenal.
Did we want to do any discussion about this, or just call it that?
I mean,
I don't really have much else to say about it other than like it was great.
You said it was really good, and you should see it. Man. I mean,
yeah.
Didn't you note that it looked like it was actually shot at the Haunted Mansion.
For some of the scenes, like the scene where the stretching out room, I was like,
Definitely making a lot of references to it.
I was like the room where the floor stretches at the intro room, the waiting room before you get on the ghost cars. Like when you see all the portraits stretching, they had the Muppets version of that, the whole scene, and it really felt like it was potentially done either at one of the haunted mansions that already existed. Why would you build a set when all you have to do is replace the portraits and then use the already existing thing? And no one's using it because it's during the pandemic. It was while Disneyland was closed, so and maybe they built it. I don't know, but I'm just saying like it felt like it was very much inside the ride at that moment.
Yes.
It's good stuff.
I really love this. I think it might be the best Muppets anything in years.
Yes.
Probably at least the best since the ABC show they did. It like that lasted all of
speaking
one
of
and a half, 2 seasons maybe.
I never actually saw that.
Oh, it's so good. Oh, watch it. Because it's really fucking good. It's basically The Office, but with Muppets. But it's, you know.
I mean, the Muppets have had so many shows that lasted 1, maybe 2 seasons. Because people love the Muppets, but not enough to actually continuously tune in and watch the Muppets. Which is why someone like Disney Plus or Netflix is perfect for that kind of thing. Because they can produce it. Like
that's what I loved the most about this, though, is that it's like, nope, the Muppets still got it. It's not like if you ever thought, oh no, they're losing their edge. It's like, nope, Muppets are still here. They're never dying. They're never gonna die. The Muppets are fucking awesome.
It was 50 minutes. 50 minutes.
It's very short.
It's very short. So my main complaint, and it is only because I'm a fucking nerd, is that I am tired of them trying to force Gonzo and Pepe. Pepe's a great character. He deserves his own fucking character to pile around with. Rizzo is Gonzo's sidekick. Stop trying to force anybody else. Yes, I know the voice actor from Rizzo was a shithead and got himself fired because he was trying to play like brinkmanship with the role. Like, oh, I'll just walk. I'm the voice of Kermit.
Then walk then.
Yeah, well,
You're
they're
not
fired.
Fucking Rizzo, and you don't. You know, we can find somebody else to be Kermit.
But they retired. They retired Rizzo, and I wish they'd bring him back with a new voice. They gave Kermit. They gave Kermit a new voice. Why didn't they give Rizzo a new voice?
Yeah.
Tell
me nobody else can do Rizzo. Come on.
Like I like Pepe. Like there's nothing wrong with Pepe, but Gonzo's friend is Rizzo.
Well,
I feel like Pepe should be like with Fozzie or something.
Have you not seen Muppets from Space yet? I think.
Oh yeah, I have.
You have?
Oh okay. Yeah.
So you know the whole concept of them all living together in the same house, kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's what lets me believe. Like, yeah, I could see the two getting together to go to.
No. Rizzo is his number one rat. I'm sorry.
I don't disagree.
But I
didn't have a problem.
I didn't have a problem with. I mean, I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem with Disney not bringing Henson Company, whoever's in charge, not bringing Rizzo back with a new voice.
Yeah.
When they recast Kermit,
seems like a little bit of a butthurt thing going on. Like, stop being so worried about what that douchebag did.
It might be that he helped create Rizzo, and it's a royalties issue too.
That might be it. Yeah.
In which case, fine, I get it. Make a new character that's very similar to Rizzo but different. It's very simple, and it's not Pepe. Goddammit, trust me. I like Pepe. Pepe's great. He's just no replacement for Rizzo. Yeah, that was literally the only thing I could say that was wrong with that movie.
And then I just came up with a fucking brilliant idea.
My other complaint is it was too short.
Yes. A brilliant idea. When you do bring in the new rat character, that's definitely Rizzo, but it's not Rizzo. You could joke around somehow and introduce them by bringing out Frank Grillo to play Grillo the rat.
Oh, I was thinking to get Lizzo the rat. I was gonna say Lizzo the rat. Yeah. Literally about to say, you can just get Lizzo to come out and play Lizzo the rat. That'd be fucking awesome. She's a bit too controversial for the kids show though. She literally just showed up to someone's some famous person's birthday party in a sheer dress where she's just basically naked. I mean, like, more power to her. She's beautiful. I'm just like, I think that she's too edgy for Disney. Is all I'm saying. I think Grillo is too edgy for Disney too. But I like both those ideas a lot. Next, we watched Race with the Devil, the prequel to Drive Angry. Not really a prequel. But...
Yeah, I was gonna say, not really.
Shut up.
But I see where you got that from.
It's because in Drive Angry they heavily reference this movie.
I felt like this, the way it opened up and you see Peter Fonda on a motorcycle, right?
Yeah.
I'm just immediately reminded of Easy Rider. It's like, oh, that's that. So that leads into this somehow in some weird alternate universe, and then this leads into Drive Angry in an alternate universe. It's so very strange, right?
Yeah, I mean, I love Drive Angry. I'm always trying to recommend that movie to everybody because it's probably Nick Cage's weirdest role. And it's also just a really well choreographed and scripted film. Even if you necessarily don't find it fun, you'll at least, I think, be impressed with some of the stunt work. And how can you not be impressed by Nick Cage smoking a cigar, drinking whiskey, shooting a gun, and fucking someone while jumping through the air? Like, that's what he does in the one scene. It's my favorite scene in the entire movie. He does every vice possible. Every cool guy thing possible while wearing sunglasses. And I love the movie. I love the movie. It's so good. It's not as ridiculous as a Crank, but it's pretty fucking good.
But Race with the Devil, I would say, is very different. It's definitely they're trying to
Race with the Devil.
They're trying to escape a cult, and it is definitely one of those movies that if you're trying to figure out who to trust, the answer is nobody. Never trust anybody in this fucking movie. You will die.
I believe the Saint, Stone Cold Steve Austin said, DTA, don't trust anybody. I take that to heart. There you go. That was my worst Stone Cold impression I've ever done.
So
my entire life.
As you're going along watching this movie and you're seeing them randomly here or there decide we're gonna trust this one person, just like no, don't do that, no. And I do love the certain aspects of the movie. There's a scene early on where you see like this red truck, and the guy who's part of the cult.
Oh, that's so cool.
And is like tasked with like following them, right? And then they pull into a gas station, and there's no musical cue. There's no indication of any
sound effect or anything
that you should be paying attention to this at all. But as they are talking to each other in the cabin of their fucking camper at the gas station, you see the red truck pulling up in front of them,
and the little window between them, behind them, and there's no sound. It's like creeping up.
Yeah.
Good shit. We made a joke that later on,
right up in front of them, across from them, so you can see the truck across from them.
Which was it? Was it Cassie Deadly Spell or Angel Heart that had the red truck, and we were making a joke that it was the same universe, same truck? Fuck. What movie was that?
Which one it was? I think it was Angel Heart, actually.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, so I love the ending to Race with the Devil. You genuinely don't see it coming, so it's kind of cool. And yeah, liked it. I gave Race with the Devil. I gave Muppet on the Mansion 7 out of 10. I gave Race with the Devil 7 out of 10.
Both good scores, fair, accurate.
Fair, yeah, okay.
I give Muppets Haunted Mansion an 8 out of 10, though. I think it's really
good. I think it would have got an 8 out of 10 if Kermit didn't sound weird. That's it. Kermit, he just doesn't sound right. It's like just a little off. I mean,
Did
it's
that
hard to.
meow come from your end?
Nope, that was
I
your
heard a
end.
meow.
I think. Did you meow?
Okay, it's not-
No, I think it was your meow. Your meow machine.
But she's not in here. Why would I hear?
Oh, maybe it was mine. Was that you? What? You want me to let you out? Okay, hold on. I gotta let the cat out.
Alright.
Talking about VHS 94.
VHS 94. This one just came out. It's on Shudder. It was okay. It was okay. It's definitely not any worse than like VHS Viral. There are a lot of aspects of VHS Viral that I really loved, and then there were some that weren't that good. And I think the same can be said here of VHS 94. A lot of aspects of it that I loved, and some that just were not that good. But you get what you get, and
You don't throw a fit. That's what my friend's dad used to say. He was an asshole.
gonna throw a fit. Absolutely gonna throw a fit.
You get what you get, and you don't throw a fit. And like, bitch, I will throw a fucking fit. My titties are gonna be uncalm in about 3 seconds. All right.
The overarching like plot of the movie, I felt like was very meh. You know,
It was fine until the end.
yeah.
At the reveal
That's
of the bridging, the connecting segment is
Yeah,
like.
the connecting segment.
That's how I describe it.
Yes.
And also the
Good way to
third.
describe it.
Also, I did not really enjoy the third segment. I mean, I didn't hate it because it was really cool, but like the first
It
two,
was cool. It just
the first two segments and the overarching segment, like all used like a filtered VHS style, camera thing going on. So it was either a high def camera on with a filter on it to make it look like a VHS, or was shot in a VHS. Some of the times I couldn't tell. I think some of those were actually shot on.
I think some of them were like partially shot with an actual like
'Cause-
video camera.
Because there's some
or-
scenes I'm like, that's analog video.
Yeah,
You can tell.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like. And maybe it's just a good filter. But when you get to the third segment, they do that stupid ass bullshit that no one believes. Here's your battery icon. Here's the little lineup shot guides. Here's the what else was it? The record in the corner. You don't see that shit in a recording, so why the fuck am I seeing that in the movie? It's one thing when I'm looking for through a POV on a camera.
Yeah.
That's active and live. It's another thing when I'm watching footage back from something that happened. Like,
Yeah.
so this third segment, while cool as fuck, 'cause it's got like a wild storyline I couldn't even begin to like give you a breakdown of without ruining horribly. But like, they're all very short segments, so like it's hard to talk about their specific contents without going into spoiler territory.
Yes.
So the third one, just the visually, it just didn't match because it was just like this high def footage that most definitely was not shot with equipment from 1994. So
Yeah.
it feels immediately anachronistic, considering the format the movie had been in for every other segment except
It's
this
so
one.
clearly high definition. Like you can
It's
see
jarring.
like the hairs on the guy's fucking like
Bro, we got to
on
the,
his face
you got
and
this
shit.
close to the camera, I can count his fucking pores on Shudder.
Yeah, exactly. On Shudder. And it's like you're telling me this is from a VHS.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
It just
Come
felt
on.
very jarring. And now
And
I
it's
say
very
that
jarring because it's couched in between all these other segments that are
it's at the end at least, but
clearly
it's still
at least like given that the filter, you know.
yeah, or use
But-
the right equipment.
Yeah.
I like I said, I don't want to. I don't know how the film was made specifically. All these were made during the pandemic, so like. That being said, that third segment's still really cool. Like special effects extravaganza.
There's some
but
really cool
It's
aspects of that one.
it's by the guy who did the short for VHS with the cult with like
Yeah. I think that
the
was
weird
VHS too.
monster. Was it VHS too? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Says that or viral. It wasn't the first one, I don't think. I think you're right. It was two. Anyway, I gave the VHS 94 a 6 out of 10. I would have given it a 7 if that last segment was like properly
The
coded.
third one, you mean?
Yeah.
Because the last one is actually kind of good.
Well, that last one is there's only 3 segments and then the overarching, right?
No,
Is there 4?
there's the fourth. You remember the vampire one?
Oh, yes, I remember.
It doesn't give too much away because it is not your typical vampire story.
I forgot about that one. Yeah.
I actually really like that one.
Yeah.
It starts out and you think it's going in one direction, but it goes in a completely different direction.
I did not expect them to do that twist, and they were making it definite allusions to Oklahoma City bombing, which is what you caught when we were watching it. You mentioned that, and I was like, yeah, it is a little bit. That's you don't see that very often.
They reference Waco.
Yeah.
Like,
they're definitely they're a militia, right? And so
that's what I liked about it, though. It's like they are dating this in other ways than just the fucking video footage and the filter or whatever.
They're one of the they're the kind of religious zealots who polish their guns on Saturdays and chant Christ is King while pretending to be soldier out in the woods, right? That's these kind of people. These things are a bit incongruous. You would think these people, if they thought Christ was king, they would be trying to help the homeless or benefit the community in some way. But they're playing soldier and wasting money by shooting bullets they don't need to shoot out in the woods. Anyway, that aside, then the story, of course, of this movie starts. But I thought it was gonna go one way. They revealed it going a different way, and I was like, that is such a cool twist on the myth. I'm sold on it. Whoever made that one, Ryan Prowse, he needs to make a vampire movie stat.
Yeah.
Right away. I need to see more of this, please.
100%.
Has he done anything else?
Honestly, the one I can't... The segment I can't remember that much is the second one. I remember the first one. I don't remember the second one in the movie. What's the second one?
That's the guy who did the movie Low Life, which I've been wanting to see for a while. Sorry. Second segment is called Empty Wake. That's the funeral home one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Actually, I didn't mind that one. I just completely forgot about it.
That was actually really good.
Yeah,
and the Storm Drain one was pretty cool. Ratma.
Yes. Yes. That one was like a classic, perfect opener for a VHS movie.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. It's a very... or any anthology. It feels like a very, this is the opener for an anthology type feel. But I really dug 90 to 75 to 80% of this anthology. 90 was a bit high. But 80, 85... That's that one segment. There's always one segment in these things. So I understand there's always one segment in an anthology film where you're just like, I didn't like that one. Yeah.
Yeah. I enjoyed this one, but it was not like the best one of the franchise. Put it that way.
No, the vampires one was. By far. That needs to be its own fucking movie. I need the guy to make a movie right fucking quick. Next, we watched the movie we mentioned one other time, which is Cast a Deadly Spell.
Yep. That one, I didn't know what to expect going into it, but as we got into it, it was like, oh, so this is kind of like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, but instead of like animated stuff, it's just like the world is like more magical. The magical things that we hear about in storybooks and stuff like that are an actual part of the world.
Yeah, people have magic, literally.
We exist in this story.
Like someone flips their fingers and lights a cigarette with their fingers that have fire and all on it.
Yeah. So in that way, it is like Roger Rabbit, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, but
I
it's
mean,
like instead of a toon world, it's a magic
we
world.
talked about this. It goes Who Framed Roger Rabbit 89, Dick Tracy in 90, and this is 91. And there's something in 92 we talked about that's also a
Cool
neo
world.
noir. Cool World, yes. There's a bunch of neo noirs that came out that are like neo noirs set in blank world that's not the real world, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, and Cass Deadly Spell, the main character is played by Fred Ward from Tremors. Good God, he's so good in this. That guy is so underrated. He plays a guy named Lovecraft, who is a private investigator who refuses to use magic. It's this big, that's just his little thing. And he's trying to find a missing person. Interesting note, there's a sequel called Witch Hunt, also by HBO, where Anthony Hopkins, no, Dennis Hopper plays the Lovecraft character. So that's kind of interesting.
Well, there were many aspects of this movie that I really loved because it's just wild and out there because they can do basically anything they want to.
Mhm.
And it really kind of reminded me in some ways of like Supernatural, you know? I'm wondering now if maybe certain aspects of Supernatural weren't inspired by this, and even certain aspects of X-Files. Like, it's basically
100% X-Files because of Monster of the Week.
Yeah. But it wears its noir influences on its sleeve. But it's also like just fun and loose and for the most part,
There's a femme
I would say
fatale.
almost family friendly, with the exception of a few moments that are definitely not family friendly. And of course, there are some problematic elements as well that we were really hoping wouldn't happen. But when we get to like, oh, for fuck's sake.
So they show this
I don't have to do
character,
that.
and I'm like, okay. I said, I think that's a trans person. And it turns out to be that. And the main character dead names her, slaps her, and basically just is completely transphobic to her. But it's not out of character for him to be shitty. He's kind of shitty to everybody a little bit. It just seemed excessive in this case. But then you guys understand ingrained transphobia and stuff. It doesn't ruin the movie. It's one like 3-minute scene. And yeah, because like no one else refers to that character except by her name. Except him.
That's why I was really
assaulting
hoping
her.
they wouldn't go in that direction at all. Because from like the very beginning, the first time we see her, it's like it's never implied that even that she's transgender or that there's anything necessarily wrong with this person existing, or that it's never implied that there would be something wrong or different about them, right?
Right.
So
no one reacts like, oh my gosh.
Go in that direction.
Everyone just calls her Lily, and that's it.
Yeah, exactly.
So and the thing is if
for that one part,
if the bad guy had done it, I would be less offended. But the main character, the protagonist, is the one who did it, and so it's rough to watch. But it's only, like you said, a small scene, and it's the '90s, so of course we keep this fun running into transphobia in these '90s comedies.
Yeah, sadly.
Yeah, like it is ingrained in the culture, So is using the F slur, to be fair. That which he also uses in this movie. Remember? He uses it against her, specifically. So if you want to be an F word and you want to dress up, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Jesus, that nonsense. Yeah, the thing makes when they call it dress up and you want to like roll your eyes so hard it hurts, you're like, whatever, dude.
And again, like the movie is technically set in 1948, but it's like
yes,
you're still like, oh, for fuck's sake. But the way it ends, I did like the way it ended. The kind of the switcheroo they do, because like the I don't want to give too much away, but there's at least one person trying to do a sacrifice for like a witchcraft kind of thing, and you know, it's leading towards going a certain way with that sacrifice, and it turns out that a person you wouldn't have expected to be the person who ends up getting sacrificed is like I'm not saying anything else except to say it subverts your expectations.
In good ways.
And yeah, and it's that scene is one of many in which the practical effects, the special effects in this movie are so really fucking good for the time.
Considered it's a TV movie made for HBO.
Yeah, it's a TV movie made for HBO, and they have a lot of really great like little creature effects in it.
Oh yeah,
And big creature effects for that matter.
really good effects in this.
Yeah.
Even though like the fire, the fingers looked really good. You would expect like cheap CGI from the 90s, but no. They did a really good job of doing a processed fire shot and everything. So it's real fire that they just put onto they just process onto their fingers. But yes, it does suffer from it being a TV movie. It's got a little bit low budget. They probably need a couple $1,000,000 more. But yeah, I gave it. What did I give? I gave it 7 out of 10. Would have been an 9 out of 10 if it didn't have the F slur, and if it didn't have the transphobia from the main protagonist. Like I said, if the villain had done it, I'd be like way more lenient. Although I think using that stuff as a crutch is not good either. But I'd rather use as a crutch by the bad guy than use as a source of like positivity from the good guy when it shouldn't be a positive thing.
Yeah. I agree. I think that my rating would probably be about the same, about 7 out of 10.
Mm. I think it's a fair rating. Next we did Guillermo del Toro's first film, Cronos. Pretty sure it was his first film.
I had
Second
never
film?
seen it before, and I wanted to. So, yeah, we watched.
It was his first film. First film, yeah.
Thought about getting this on Criterion. I have thought about getting it on Criterion, but I never really bothered to do so. And then I saw it was on HBO Max, and now we've seen it.
Now you need to get that trilogy box set with Chronos, Devil's Backbone, and Pan's Labyrinth. It's got a beautiful book.
Well, I have Devil's Backbone though, so I won't want to get the trilogy box set because I'll just get Chronos.
and Pan's Labyrinth.
Yes, I think I have Pan's Labyrinth.
That's what happened to me. I got those two, and then they released. I got all 3 movies, and then they announced the box set. It's like, you motherfuckers. Cause like, can I get a box? Is there a way to get one of the box sets separately? No. You have to buy all the movies again to get the fancy book. Yeah, it's Criterion, but like, you have to get all 3 to get the fancy book and the art and the casing. Yeah, fuckers. I'm not buying it again. Yes, we said it as you were typing. Exactly, Buster.
And I love the role of Ron Perlman in this one. But of course, it seems like Ron Perlman could do no wrong. I don't think I've ever seen him in anything I didn't like him in. Like,
it's true.
He's just so good. And to think that like so much of his career, I don't know what to say so much of it, but a lot of the better movies that he's been in have been Guillermo del Toro movies, or at least a couple of them.
Yeah, I mean he's a character actor everywhere except the Del Toro movies, where he's given main stage properly. Yeah, but this movie is basically like a lot of like subtext about like aging and feebleness of like time, a little bit of about addiction and the lengths people will go to like keep their beauty.
and to stay alive.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great movie. I give it a 7 out of 10. It's not Del Toro's best. Like he goes from here, he does Cronos, Mimic, Blade 2, then he does Devil's Backbone. No, he does. Excuse me, he does Cronos, Mimic, Devil's Backbone, Blade 2. And then I think he did Hellboy, Pan's Labyrinth, that order? I can't remember.
Perhaps. I can't say for sure. I thought he did Hellboy before. That maybe part of that order is right. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
I think he did it before. I think he did Hellboy before Pan's Labyrinth. Because I remember seeing the trailer for Pan's Labyrinth in another movie I was in and saying, I'm going to go see that. And then when it came out, I saw Pan's Labyrinth in the theater, and it was incredible. It was incredible. I was in like the third row. Oh my God. Some of the first people to receive the light from the celluloid. That's one of my favorite things. There's a movie called The Dreamers. I think it's Bernardo Bertolucci. It stars what's her name? Ava Green? No, that's her name. Anyway, it just stars a bunch of like really hot actors. All of them are hot. And they talk about this moment where they go to the Cinematheque because it's about people living in France. And they sit in the front row on the floor because they want to be the first people to receive the light reflected off the projector, off the screen, so they can be the first to receive the illumination of cinema. It's got like that Pittman guy, right? Let's see here.
There's something so weird about sitting in the front row for a movie, though. Or even like the really close row.
I hate doing it personally, but like it is Bernardo Bertolucci. It's Michael Pitt, not Pittman. Michael Pitt, Eva Green, I was right, and Louis Garrel. And it's these three people who are in strike of friendship, and it's right. It's like on the eve of the 1968 Paris riots, and yeah, what an incredible movie that is, by the way. If you love cinema, you owe it to yourself to see this beautiful movie about cinema. Accidentally spelled. Did I add that to the list? No, Chronos.
Anyways, Cronos.
Welcome to my brain. We get distracted.
Yeah.
That's how we do.
There were Lovecraftian elements of this.
Very much.
Lovecraftian elements.
Mm-hmm.
And in certain ways, it kind of reminded me of perhaps a less action-filled The Crow, you know? It was made around the same time as The Crow, right? And it just had the same kind of a feel to me. Right? It did to me, at least.
It felt like... Just, what? Wow, I feel like The Crow has like such more like frenetic punk energy than Cronos.
Well, sure, absolutely. I'm talking about like the dark, dreary settings and stuff like that, and just I don't know. You mentioned them dealing with addiction as well. That's another thing.
Well, I mean, to an extent, every vampire story is about addiction and consent.
The setting,
yeah,
the setting, the way things are shot, very much reminded me of the feel, at least, of the Crow. I don't know. When I think of The Crow, that's the kind of thing I think about. I don't think about the action and shit.
Speaking of which, we need to rewatch The Crow. I've been
yeah.
I've literally talked about it 2 episodes in a row, so it's time to rewatch The Crow.
It's like, yes, there is a lot of action in that movie. Wasn't my favorite part of the movie.
And let's see here. October 31st is a Sunday, which means Saturday, the October 30th, is when we need to watch The Crow, because that's when it takes place. Part of it.
Yeah. Fire it
Mischief.
up.
Fire it up. Yeah,
Fire it
exactly. You know. If you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
Yeah. Oh my god, I want to see Nightmare Alley so bad. That's like Del Toro's new film.
Mm.
Okay, so yeah, Cronos. Loved it. Next, Angel Heart.
I was not expecting to love this movie as much as I did.
It's
I didn't
very
know what
fucking
to
good.
think of it, but oh my god, it was really fucking good. Yeah.
8 out
It's
of
like
10 on this one. Like, I'm going to tell you right up front. 8 out of 10. This you need to
really
see
well
this.
done.
It's on Prime right now.
Mickey Rourke does his best fucking low rent Bruce Willis. I mean, I swear, it feels like he's trying to be Bruce Willis.
I don't get this at all. I don't get it at all. I don't feel that at all. Mickey Rourke is definitely just a downtrodden private eye, like all the noir films. It's another neo-noir that we watched in this last
really
cycle.
Yeah.
I was supposed to watch this with my friend Rhiannon, but she... I can't remember what happened. We had to, like, cancel for some reason. Doesn't matter. So I'm glad I got to rewatch this again. Because it's the one I wanted to rewatch the most. Because me and her are doing... She does a thing called Horror and Hot Chocolate, and I'm tagging along. Because I like talking with her, and we have fun talking about movies. And Angel Heart was the one I was looking forward to, because it had been a few years since I'd seen it. And the last time, I liked it, but it didn't connect with me. This time, I was enthralled. Like, I just couldn't stop. I couldn't stop staring at this movie. I was, like, sucked right into it. Mickey Rourke's character is just so relatable in so many ways.
Yep.
He is depression personified. Like, literally. He is depression in a cheap suit in this movie.
And I would say even more than that, because there are elements of his character that, like, you know, are eventually revealed, like, that go well beyond depression, well beyond.
Well, yeah, they imply that he went to the war, so it means he probably don't like PTSD or whatever, right? So,
Yeah.
or some other form of issues stemming from that. Not to generalize.
You know, it's funny, I've been thinking about post-traumatic stress disorder and how it works, and I've thought to myself, you know, it really isn't a disorder so much as a disease, because
I don't know.
it infects everybody in the family where it exists.
I mean, that's more about the parental trauma. Parental trauma is gifted to the child because that's how it works. It's how, like, abuse.
That may be, but like
abuse is generational.
They've done studies on post-traumatic stress disorder specifically, and people who have parents with post-traumatic stress disorder tend to have their own mental health issues.
But is that because they live with someone with
post-traumatic stress disorder?
But is it because they live with someone with PTSD that's unregulated? Possibly. That's my point.
Yeah, possibly.
That's my point in the end. But like that's because of, even if you intend abuse or not, that stuff's passed down generational. You were abused in some way, you abuse in some way, and not everybody, but a lot, and sometimes unintentionally. Like, it happens.
I would say,
you know?
the thing with PTSD is that very frequently it's unintentional.
Oh, of course. I would never imply otherwise. Sorry.
Doing this to you.
No. It's just the brains. They're very delicate things. I have CPTSD, which is really a struggle some days. Especially since, like, you think you're over something and you're good. It's been years, and then something trips you up, and you're like, "Fuck." And you gotta, like, work through shit all over again. Or you, like, what happened to me, like, recently I fell into a unhealthy pattern with some people, and we had to have a sit down and talk about it, and I was like, oh yeah, shit, like, fuck. You know, like, it's not something I was doing consciously, it was just, it happened. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, it's about being accountable for the things you do, even though you don't necessarily know you're doing them. Anyway, speaking of myself, but yeah, this movie deals with that in a way that I don't think many movies at the time were dealing with. He is a wounded person navigating a world full of wounded people. There's a lot. He talks to a lot of low lives and a lot of people who are down and out, down bad, as they say.
And the sad thing is that he's being taken advantage of.
Mm-hmm.
And like you can get the sense that like he's genuinely trying to be a good person, but because he's a broken person,
Wounded person.
wounded, it's impossible. Seemingly impossible. Feels impossible. I think that's the message they're trying to get across.
He's not broken. He's healing. Like, the thing is, like, oftentimes, and I'm speaking for me personally, I felt broken. Just very broken. But we're not. We're wounded by whatever happened to us. And wounds heal. They take time. They take care. Sometimes you have to clean the wounds over and over again before it finally heals, right? Like, it's like... So, like, I don't know. I don't like to say damaged, because I'm trying to be better about it myself, because it's something like I thought about recently. Someone was talking about like their own trauma, and they called themselves a wounded person, and I was like, that's a much nicer way of saying it, because I'm not damaged, I'm wounded. It's just hard to heal in a fire.
Yeah, but I don't know. There's something about his character and the things that happen to him and everything that it makes me feel like it eventually goes beyond just being wounded.
Mm-hmm.
Things go way too far. Not that he would never be able to recover, but that perhaps societally he would never be able to recover.
It's what an incredible movie that movie Angel Heart is, though.
And there's all this imagery of like fucking like fan blades.
Yes, cyclical nature of like. I feel like it's almost. Think about it. It's almost like it's almost the cyclical nature of actual PTSD. How like you come back around to things that you've been through over and over again.
I need to rewatch this movie, and I can't help but think to myself, wait a minute. We see a fan in every single scene where something happens that he doesn't know is happening.
Huh.
I'm pretty sure that's the case.
Interesting.
I have to go back and watch it again, probably a year from now.
It's so good, and I'll definitely probably watch it with you in a year from now.
Yeah, it's a really good movie. I really enjoyed it. Robert De Niro.
I have the Blu-ray that goes in and out of print every now and then. You can get on Amazon frequently. It just goes out of print for like 6 months at a time, because I don't think they print a lot of them. It's not the most popular title. Yeah. It's a title I want like Arrow or Scream Factory to release a deluxe edition for.
I would even say, given how much depth there is to it, and how like all the subjects it deals with, maybe Criterion worthy.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know that they'd ever do it, but
So I think Arrow would be perfect, because they're like the step between, because they still have the books. Yeah, the restoration.
Or Indicator.
Indicator. Yeah. They recently announced that they're starting to do U.S. releases.
Yeah.
Which is pretty wild.
To hear it.
That's just because Criterion is doing UK releases, so they're all fighting back.
I think it's probably also because like they're trying to compete with Arrow, and Arrow has U.S. division too. So
there's that also.
Yeah.
Man, what an incredible movie though. I could see Severin releasing Angel Heart.
Yeah.
They do a great job too, and I know they would. Fuck, it's so good. Yeah. I gave it an 8 out of 10, and it's a well-deserved 8 out of 10.
Yes. I might even give it a 9 out of 10, but
I had to watch it again
to really good
to determine that. I think I need another spin on it to confirm that. Do you want to talk about Witchboard, or do you want to just leave that a mystery for everyone?
Let's just say Witchboard is nowhere near as good as Angel Heart. Really many of the other movies we watched, but it was still fun.
It was after midnight, and we wanted to watch something a little lighter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't judge us.
Definitely fit the bill. It was a little lighter. Yeah.
I say if you liked Ouija Origin of Evil, I said this earlier when I was talking about my movies on my own stream yesterday. If you liked Ouija Origin of Evil, you owe yourself a treat and to go see Witchboard, because there's definite direct influences from Witchboard to Ouija Origin of
Yeah.
Evil. The sequel, not the first movie, which is a 4 out of 10 at best, I think. It's a bland movie. The sequel, Origin of Evil, is great. Mike Flanagan directed that.
Yeah.
So.
Witchboard, I will say, I don't know what it is with people in these fucking movies and never saying goodbye, but fucking say goodbye.
I think the
You
goodbye
gonna
was.
mess around with this shit? Say.
I think the goodbye was specifically Origin of Evil. I'm pretty sure it's not in any other movie.
Are you sure? I swear I've seen this happen in some other movies where they played with, like, didn't that happen in Conjuring 2, I think?
I don't know. I know they were like talking to there's a ghost that wanted them out and kept impersonating other ghosts to get them. And now we've got a bunch of fucking.
Think they ever said
and now
goodbye.
we've got a bunch of spin-off movies based on this fucking nonsense. I mean, The Nun, whatever. That's one of them. Yeah, I like Witchboard. It also got a 7 out of 10, just like Ouija Origin of Evil. So, but yeah, there's Witchboard, Witchboard 2, Witch Trap, and Night of the Demons 1, all directed by Kevin Tenney. And I had to say, he's probably the Ouija board guy, because they're all kind of in his movies. And he's got kind of a mythos or logic that sticks with all the movies. So,
of all the movies we watched, I felt like this was the one that felt the most low budget, the most indie horror, and there's nothing wrong with that because it worked.
It worked great.
It was really well done. Yeah.
Yeah, give that 7 out of 10. I've seen this. This is my third time seeing it, I think. Third time seeing it. So I watched it once by itself. And I watched Witchboard 1 and 2 because all the films released a DVD or Blu-ray of it. So I had the Scream Factory Witchboard, all of the Witchboard 2. I watched those two. The next year, next year, 2 years later, I watched it again, those two again, plus Witch Trap and Night of the Demons with Alex. And then now I've watched Witchboard again with you. If I could get Witchboard 2 or Witch Trap, I would make us watch those two so you could see them all. Because I really like Witch Trap. It's really good, but not streaming anywhere. So yeah, that's it. That's everything. Oh, is there anything else you watched that you want to talk about?
I just watched the other night. I watched Halloween 2018 because
that's tomorrow
I wanted
for me.
To prepare myself for Halloween Kills.
Nice.
Coming.
I'm watching Halloween 2018 tomorrow with my friend Rhiannon. We watched the original Halloween tonight. And then she is going on Friday to see Halloween Kills. She got her tickets. Her and her mom. It's a special treat. She goes to horror movies with her mom. So it's like, that's so cool.
There are two other things I want to talk about. One, I guess I got on a fucking little bit of a kick here with these kinds of stories, but I watched Squid Game.
I need to see that.
Really fucking good. It's, the concept of Battle Royale, but done from, I would say, a bit of a different perspective with kind of a little bit of a different point to it. And then
it's Korean, right?
What? Yes, Korean. And then I watched The Hunt shortly after that.
Oh, right.
And I have to say that one was shockingly deeper than I think most people have given it credit for. I couldn't find really any examples of any critic really pointing this out, and it blows my mind, because that just means that the critics are basically the same as the bad guys in this movie. They don't get it. They don't fucking get the point of it, right? And it's just like, oh my god, because there are so many jokes at the expense of the people who don't get it in this movie. And you really, I think it's really, really important. You really need to have read or understand in some way Animal Farm, George Orwell's Animal Farm, in order to really get like some of the message behind this movie. But yeah, there are silly, goofy aspects of it, but I think that's kind of they also kind of lead into the point of the movie. Um,
So I watched with my friend Rhiannon. We watched The Craft and The Craft Legacy. Have you seen The Craft Legacy yet?
no, I've only ever seen The Craft.
So we watched them. Whoa, really? Watched both of them back to back. And controversial opinion, but I think The Craft Legacy is a better movie.
Oh wow!
Significantly, by a whole fucking star rating. 6 stars versus
That
7
was
stars.
that was in that period of time that I always assumed that
I love The Craft.
sequel to the horror movie, or rather, the sequel to almost any movie, was going to be worse than the original.
Oh yeah, that's not
And
true
so I
anymore.
didn't bother with it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's never been true.
So late '90s, I wasn't really, as well versed on film at that time.
And then I watched Idle Hands. Isn't that one of your favorite
love-
movies? Yeah.
I love Idle Hands. Yeah. It's really
So
good.
there was a few like definitely hurts now, but was definitely a thing back in the '90s type discussions talking
Mm.
in that movie. I think if I remember correctly, someone it's called the F slur, very specifically.
Oh,
But like, I gave it a 7 out of 10 still. So
it's very much there are dude bro elements to this.
100,000%, 1,000%.
That's who this movie was sold to completely. But I did like Vivica A. Fox's character in this. She's so fucking good. Love her role. And it's one of the movies that made me love Devon Sawa. I also loved the first Final Destination more than any other Final Destination movie, although
I like the
there
sequel,
are
the
other
second
good
one.
ones.
Second one's my favorite.
The second one, I will say, for everything, for as much as I love the first Final Destination more than the others, it cannot be denied. The second Final Destination movie is the one that traumatized people, that fucked people up, because now nobody will drive behind a fucking truck carrying logs. Nobody. Nobody's willing to drive. Tell me one person in here who says that they're willing to drive behind a fucking truck full of logs. You are a goddamn liar. You are a goddamn liar.
I also won't drive behind pipes or rebar or lumber. No to all those things. I've seen too fucking many episodes of Rescue 911 to be like, nah,
Oh yeah, yeah.
nah. Drive extra slow when you're near fucking picket fences. Like, no, bro. I've seen some fucking horrific ass shit. I am good. I don't need to rush anywhere, ever, for any reason.
So Final Destination is still my favorite, but Final Destination 2 was the one that traumatized people.
And I will still forever. I will always be sad that the last Final Destination. It should be called The Last Destination, and the Earth should avoid an asteroid strike, so the entire Earth had to stop death, and they kill death and create immortality instead.
Oh, God.
Which is its own other problems, and then that's its own thing, but I always wanted to do The Last Destination.
And then after that, they'll find a way to do The Ultimate Destination.
Ooh, maybe that's called The Ultimate Destination. The Final Destination, end of the line.
Just waiting for them.
The train
penultimate
movie.
Destination, the prequel to The Ultimate Destination.
Oh God. But no, I thought that was always be like.
I mean, if we're gonna go Fast and Furious goofy with it, you might as well.
Like we're 5 movies deep into the final. If you want to call it Final Fantasy, the Final Destination franchise, we could go ridiculous at this point. Literally, the asteroid missing the Earth storyline is the Jason goes to space storyline of the Final Destination franchise.
100%. Do it.
It's basically Armageddon and Final Destination combined. Except they succeed and it's worse.
Do it. Execute Order 67,
What? Not 69? What the fuck?
I guess.
Giggity. Nice.
Nice.
Oh, boy.
Uh,
Do we have any further to add? We did a 2-hour episode, by the way. We watched less movies. We talked about less movies than we had in the last 3 episodes.
we had more to say.
We had
And I
more to
think,
say about
honestly,
those
I
things.
remembered more this time.
I think I did too. We saw some really fucking good movies. I want Cast of Deadly Spell on Blu-ray already so I can own it because I need to see it some more.
That'd be cool. I feel like somebody should be able to get that.
I mean, I think Scream Factory has like a relationship with HBO. I think they've released a few
Yeah,
other
but
things.
if they had a... When are we going to get the fucking Hitchhiker with Rutger Hauer? When is that going to come
Oh,
on
right.
Blu-ray?
There's that. I think that they announced that. It hasn't been released. They're working on it.
They announced it? Okay,
Yeah.
Good.
The Hitcher. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never seen it. I remember seeing the trailers on HBO and thinking it looked dumb. Of course, I was 13. Give me a break. I was 13. Give me a break. You know?
I watched it because I found the DVD at Goodwill. And,
That's such a lucky find.
Right? And I have to say, it really holds. It's really good. It's like an 8 out of 10. It's really good. Loved it.
But yeah,
I can't wait for the be on Blu-ray.
I would love that. And also, I want from Shout Select, Lightning Jack and the Cherokee Kid. I would be fine with a double bill. They don't need any special features. Just give me the damn movies. I'll pay you 15 whole American dollars for that. Thank you. For 2 movies, bare bones. Yeah.
And they'll be like $20.
I'd be like, fine.
No less.
I give them $20 for it. But they'll probably want $29.99 because it's 2 movies. I'm like, I hate you. Great, you have trailers. That's not... Look. Real talk here about special features. Trailers, photo galleries. These are not special features anymore. These should be standard to every release. Every last
These are
release.
not special features.
Deleted scenes. Special features are commentaries or featurettes or fucking documentaries or whatever else is on there. Audiobooks in the case of some. Like there's the Lost Soul, the story of Richard Stanley's Island of Dr. Moreau. Like that movie has had an immortal edition, I think it's called, or something like that, and it came with the Island of Dr. Moreau narrated by Richard Stanley.
That story is so fucking wild.
I know.
It's like you don't even believe it actually happened at times. You're just like, this is just some shit they made up.
Right?
But then you find out who Richard Stanley is as a person. And you're like, that actually did happen, didn't it?
Oh yeah. Also, apparently Richard Stanley is an abusive prick. So,
yeah.
I'm not shocked at all with him though. He seemed like an abusive prick the entire time. But I kind of want to watch that documentary and then watch Island of Dr. Moreau, having fully known now with the backstories behind it, you know?
Yeah.
Like, oh boy. Because then we get to have fun trying to find Richard Stanley
to make like a...
hidden in the background of some scenes.
That's the thing. Somebody needs to make a movie about this happening. Now I know that's what Lost Souls is.
Yeah, no, you meant like a fiction.
But I'm saying,
yeah,
a fictionalized.
Yes. Oh my God, who would play Richard Stanley?
Oh God, who knows? Oh, I don't even know.
Jim Carrey.
Too old. Too old. Sharlto Copley.
Who?
Sharlto Copley. He played the main character in District 9.
Why did it have to be ageist? Jim Carrey's not too old to play a fucking part.
For this part, I think.
Nah. Lies and slander.
I mean, if age was no problem, You could probably do it pretty well, yeah.
I don't know who I'd choose. And no, I won't say Carl Urban because I don't think Carl Urban's right. But Carl Urban should. Do you know what Carl Urban should do? He should play the Val Kilmer part.
Yes.
That's so procrastinate. He plays Val Kilmer. Like
But who plays Marlon Brando?
Oh my god. I want to say Jack Black.
Oh my god. Oh my god, I can see it. I can see it. Oh.
Let's see here. I'm still trying to think who the fuck would play Richard Stanley though. He'd have to be young, British. Could do British at least. Long hair, kind of a hippie. Wears fucking plaid. And fucking weird hats and shit.
Maybe what's his face? Who does
slightly overweight?
Bruno, and what's his? I don't know his fucking face.
Are you about to say Sacha Baron Cohen?
Yeah, Sacha Baron
No,
Cohen.
absolutely, positively not.
Who's the comedian guy who's got the long hair, and he's British?
That's helpful.
Name starts with an R. I feel like. I don't fucking know his name. He's kind of a prick too. But
I have no idea who you're talking about. I'm like completely lost.
British comedian.
Oh my god.
I guarantee I looked this up. It's gonna be like, oh, there he is. Nope, not. I was wrong. He's not there.
Yeah, I don't know who would play Richard Stanley.
Simon Pegg. You'd need a lot of makeup, but I'm just saying.
He doesn't need any makeup. Technically, he's just gonna play the character. He doesn't look exactly like it. It's fictionalized, you know.
True.
I mean, it might definitely give Carl Urban a fucking prosthetic to look more like Val Kilmer. But that's just because I have faith that he can do Val Kilmer. That would for the ages. Oh, I know who it is. Nicolas Cage. He's the only one crazy enough. I am pretty sure he has hung out with Richard Stanley, so he knows exactly how to do Richard Stanley. I know he's too old, but I don't care.
Yeah,
I think.
Age.
Who cares? It's Nicolas Cage.
He's the one. He's the one.
He's it. That's it. Yeah.
It's got to be him.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's I'm pretty confident in our cast. The only other person who can play Marlon Brando is Paul Rudd.
But you need to make like a fat suit.
No, you wouldn't. You just have to
He's pretty big at that point.
But it's not real. It's fiction. Once again, we just make him a lazy prick. Just mumbling lazy prick. Anyway, I mean, you could do a fat suit on him, but like I don't know. Fat suits. The problem with fat suits is why make a skinny person fat when you can just cast a fat person?
Exactly. That's why we need to find a fat person to play
that.
The role.
So I don't know. Yeah, I don't think. Like I like Paul Rudd. I'm saying I can see Paul Rudd playing a skinny version of him, just a out there dude, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's better than Jack Black. I think Jack Black was born to play that role. Just like,
I'm just envisioning the scene between Jack Black and Carl Urban as they're like putting one foot out the door at the same time.
Oh yeah, because they wouldn't leave. They wouldn't leave each other's trailers unless they did it at the same time.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh my god, this. They're like having an argument. He would pull his foot back up. They're arguing about who pulled their foot back first, and then oh my god, I could see it. I could see it. And make it in the same tone as like Tropic Thunder, I would think.
Yes. Yeah. 100%.
That kind of tone.
Yes.
With less blackface. Even though that was the joke.
Oh my
less
God.
blackface. Now we've gone on a rant and fantasy casted a movie.
Yes. That will probably never be made. But
God, I would love to make that movie.
That's
you have no idea.
That's what we do around here.
I would love to make movies about movies. Like, I would love to make a fictionalized version of the movie Roar, where all these Hollywood actors lived with fucking lions and then made a movie about people who live with lions while living with fucking lions. People were scalped and hurt. No one was killed, but like the camera guy was John DeBont. Twister's John DeBont, in case you're curious. And Speed. He did Speed also. But he was the camera guy on that movie and got like fucking like fucked up by a lion in one point. And there's actual maulings happening in those movies. Like you're watching it actually get like roughed up by a lion, and just doing a fictionalized version where everyone's kind of looking around like, is someone gonna get the lion off Dave? I think the lion's trying to kill Dave. Like I just see this darkly comedic moment at Dave just screaming in the background where they're like trying to decide if they should break up the lion, beating him up or not. Like I don't know. I can see it. Things like that. I would love to like just make a bunch of movies like that. Among other things. If I had 1,000,000 years and $1,000,000 billion. Bajillion dollars. Gosh. Anyway, I gotta piss.
We have the ideas to make these things happen.
Oh, I've always been the idea girl. Never had. It's just writing it out. My inspiration to write comes in fragments and spurts. Mm-hmm. I'm actually playing with the idea of releasing a collection of my poetry called Fragments, since most of my poetry is like 4 or 5 lines long. That's about it. Because I get inspiration and then I run out of steam and the brain is on a different thing. And then I write a different 2 or 3 lines of poetry. So, anyway. I'm done rambling. I need to go pee. Yeah. I think that's it. I think that's going to do it for this episode. This is probably our longest episode, I think.
Possible.
Thanks everyone for stopping by. We do this every other Wednesday. We will see you not next Wednesday, but the Wednesday after. Next Wednesday, I will endeavor to stream. I always endeavor to stream. I don't always stream on Wednesdays. Mental health and being what it is. I do noon Pacific. I do a thing called Art and Tea with my sister from Another Mister. And then Thursday, oh Christ, I fucked my panels up there we go. And then Thursday I do a trans girls talking nerdy or trans girls gaming, in which me and my trans friends either sit around and talk nerdy, like the last couple weeks, because my arm's been hurting, and I can't really use the mouse for long periods because it hurts my shoulder, which I've injured. And so we've just been trans ladies talking, trans people talking nerdy, because I'm technically a demi girl. And so, we sometimes do gaming. That's Thursdays at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 Eastern. I think that's all. That's my whole plugs. Do you have anything to plug?
Cinnamon.com.
There you go. He does a website called cinnamon.com. Bye, everybody. We'll see you in 2 weeks.